The United States government has officially certified this home as capable of surviving an EF5 tornado and a Category 5 hurricane. It cuts energy bills by up to 75%. Insurance drops by as much as 90%. No rot, no mold, no termites, and engineers say it can stand for centuries. In a country that builds over 1 million new homes every single year, fewer than 900 of these exist. This is called a monolithic dome. And the reason you have almost certainly never been offered one has nothing to do with whether it works. It has everything to do with the system that decides what gets built and who profits when you choose something else. The dome is not a recent invention. Around 19,000 years ago in what is now Ukraine, people were already bending mammoth bones and animal hides into curved shelters. No engineering degrees, no written plans. Just an observation. Round shapes handled wind, spread weight evenly, and stayed standing when everything flat around them did not. The Romans took that idea further than anyone. In 125 AD, they completed the Pantheon in Rome, a concrete dome so precisely built that nearly 2,000 years of earthquakes, floods, and wars have not brought it down. Still standing, still intact, unreinforced and unrestored. The Inuit understood the same principle in ice. A curved snow dome converts the weight pressing down on it into outward pressure, which actually makes it stronger under load, not weaker. Round is not just a different shape, it is a fundamentally different way of dealing with force. In the 1970s, a family of builders in Idaho called the South Brothers decided to take this ancient principle and turn it into a modern home. After years of experimenting, they landed on a process unlike anything else in residential construction. It starts with a circular concrete base set into the ground. A large custom fabric membrane, essentially a giant balloon, is bolted to that base and inflated by industrial fans. Workers enter through an airlock. Inside this pressurized bubble, the real building begins. First, spray foam goes onto the inside surface of the fabric, about 3 inches thick. Here, the dome does something no conventional home does. The insulation sits on the outside of the concrete, not between the concrete and the living space. That reversal changes everything about how the building holds temperature. In a standard home, the concrete sits on the cold side of the wall. In a dome, hundreds of tons of concrete sit on the warm side, directly inside the insulation. Once that mass reaches a comfortable temperature, it holds that heat for hours and slowly releases it back. The building becomes its own thermal battery, with no technology, no system, and no ongoing cost. After the foam, steel rebar is tied across the curved surface. Then, concrete is fired at high velocity through a nozzle and built up in layers until the shell is 3 to 12 inches thick. When it cures, it becomes one unbroken piece of steel reinforced concrete from foundation to apex. No joints, no seams, no weak points. A 300 miles per hour wind against a flat wall exerts around 400 pounds of force per square foot. Against a dome, the wind simply curves around the surface. There is no flat face to push, no corners to pry, and no roof edge to lift. The force travels straight down into the ground. Federal Safe Room certification requires a structure to stop a 15-pound piece of lumber traveling at 100 miles per hour. Against a standard brick wall, that piece goes straight through. Against a dome shell, it barely leaves a mark. Monolithic domes are rated near absolute protection from EF5 tornadoes and Category 5 hurricanes. The real-world record backs it up. A tornado in Missouri passed directly over a dome home. The conventional house a quarter mile away was scattered into the forest. The dome lost one piece of window trim. After Katrina, a dome church in Mississippi was one of the only large structures left standing. In Florida, A dome home survived 3 back-to-back hurricanes that same season. A dome building in Iraq took a direct hit from a 5,000-pound bomb. The interior was destroyed, but the dome was still standing. A Wisconsin school district built 5 dome structures for $9 million, saving an estimated $8 million compared to conventional construction before a single utility bill. In Arizona, a 3,000 square foot dome had a peak bill of $199 in its worst summer month, compared with a local average of $400 to $600. In Virginia, one family's total annual energy cost for a 2,600 square foot dome was $900. Nobody banned the dome. No committee voted it out of existence. What happened is quieter than that and harder to fix. To get a mortgage, a bank needs to know what a home is worth, and to figure that out, an appraiser looks for 3 comparable homes sold nearby in the last 12 months. Dome owners rarely sell. They have built something that costs almost nothing to run and will outlast everyone in the family. So comparable sales do not exist. Comparables means no value. No value means no mortgage. No mortgage means only cash buyers. And the fewer domes that get built, the fewer comparables exist, and the cycle locks tighter every year. Zoning adds a second wall. Many municipalities require a minimum roof pitch for neighborhood uniformity. A dome goes from vertical at the base to flat at the top. It technically fails a pitch requirement at every point on its surface. In California, engineering approval for a structure local inspectors have never encountered can cost over $40,000 before construction begins. Nobody designed this system to keep domes out. It was just never designed to let them in. The appraisal rules, the mortgage process, the building codes, all are built around rectangular wooden boxes. Anything that does not fit that shape struggles, regardless of how well it performs. A shape that prehistoric builders discovered 19,000 years ago, that the Romans perfected into something still standing 2 millennia later, that has survived direct tornado strikes, back-to-back hurricanes, and a 5,000-pound bomb. And you cannot get a mortgage for one. Not because it is unsafe, not because it is unproven, because the financial system that decides what gets built was designed around a different product, and every rule written since has made it a little harder to choose anything else. The dome does not fail. The system around it does.